great scholar, I read about her, narrated, Aisha said that a lady came wearing a green veil and complained to her, that is Aisha, and showed her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. It was the habit at that time for women to support each other, means when they get beaten up, so you support each other. So when Allah's messenger came, Aisha said, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as a believing woman. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes. That was my second part.
As for second part, I answer first and first part, I answer second.
No problem.
She's complaining to the Prophet that somebody has done injustice to her. It doesn't end saying the Prophet agreed with it. If someone has done injustice, if we read ahead in some other hadith, the Prophet may have done justice to her. It doesn't say that someone beat her and the Prophet agreed with it. Correct? She's just reporting that maybe there is injustice done to a woman. That's it. The moment she's complaining means she's disagreeing with it. She didn't say, Prophet, I heard a very good thing I saw, that the woman was beaten up. The moment she's complaining means the wife, Hazrat Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, disapproved of it. So the lesson we get from this is, no one should beat the woman such a way that she becomes green.
But sir, see, the exact statement she makes is that I have not seen any woman, that's Aisha herself, it's not my interpretation, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as a believing woman. So we see at the time of Muhammad that women were really in very, very bad shape, even though...
You know there are hadiths saying, I have not seen a person, a believing person like Hazrat Bilal suffering. What was he suffering from? His master tortured him and said, don't say there's one God and I will leave you. Hazrat Bilal, may Allah be pleased with him, on that death stone, he's agreed to die. He will say, I will not denounce Allah. I will keep on saying, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. There's no God but Allah and Prophet Muhammad is a messenger. He's taking the pain. That means if I say Hazrat Bilal is a believer who is being tortured, that does not mean that what act that being done on Hazrat Bilal, may Allah be pleased with him, is right. It is wrong. But he's a believer who's taking the pain. In this context, we have to see the context and go to the Shara. You have to see Fath al-Bari. And what was the woman? What was she? Who tortured her? Was it the master? Was she a slave woman? You have to go to the Shara. I'm not a muhaddith. I'm telling you what the answer can be. You have to go to the Shara and find out. Why was she? Who hit her? Who beat her? Did the husband do? Was the husband a believer? There are 10,000 reasons.
But just because, excuse me, in Mishkat al-Masabi, volume 2.
Brother Shekhar,
yes.
What I would like you to do, there are so many people waiting at all the mics. Precisely, concisely, I would like you to put your question in a few words and then close. Because you got such a big sheaf of papers, there are many people I see waiting with small slips or something. Question. So we cannot allow this whole thing to go on. This is not a debate session. It's a question and answer session. I want you to put your question in the next 4 sentences. Let Dr. Zakir answer so that all the many ladies standing there here also get a chance. We have exactly 1 hour, 12 minutes left. We have occupied 20 minutes already.
Brother, initially you asked 2 questions answered. You said, I want a counter. What counter you gave? In the counter, you're asking 1 more question. I don't mind answering your 100 questions. But in this rule, 1 question at a time, go behind the queue, no problem. You ask 2 questions, give the answer. You said, I want a counter question. With the counter question, you're asking 1 more question. So, I'm very kind, I don't mind. I would love. After finishing, you can come in the cabin. And inshallah, I will answer all your questions. I want to ask you, after I answer your question, what will you do? Will you believe in the religion Hazrat Aisha believed? Yes or no? I yet have to answer your counter question.
Well, it's not just this 1 point. There are many, many more.
I'll answer inshallah all. How many are there? 10, 20, 50, 100? How many?
Well, we can sit on that.
How many approximately?
Well, there are many more. I have not
How many? 10, 20, 100, 1,000, 10,000? How many do you have now in your mind?
Well, I do have.
How many? 10, 20, 30? How many?
Yeah, probably quite a few. Maybe.
Quite a few is how much? 5 or 10? Approximately.
I don't know. Maybe 100 questions.
100 questions you have? Brother, after this session is over, we sit together. Okay? Write down all the 100 questions. Inshallah. Inshallah. I will try and answer everyone.
Okay?
I request you. We'll spend the full night together. I don't mind. Because you're a seeker of truth. And I'm also a seeker of truth, and my job is to try and clarify the truth. Not that I'm a scholar. I will try and answer all your 100 questions. But I doubt whether you'll be able to write 100 questions. I doubt. Coming to your main counter question, brother.
That will be basic counter question.
Counter question of yours is that daraba has got two meanings. One is strike off the head. You ask me then, how do you come to know which is correct? Correct?
Exactly.
In the counter question, don't ask one more question. That means you're breaking the rule.
Sir, I'm just refuting what you said.
Not refuting. See, you asked a counter question. Counter question was of daraba has got meaning of striking. That is the counter question. In that counter question, you asked one more question. You can't ask one more question in a counter question. You can ask one counter question, but that was a fresh question that you asked. Now coming to your question of daraba. You said striking, I agree with you. How do you come to know one time it is lightly beating, one time it is striking of the head? You know the verse in the Quran is there, in Surah Maryam, chapter 19, verse number 47. Mary, may Allah be pleased with her, she says, when Archangel Gabriel says that you shall have a son. So she says, how shall I have a son when no man has touched me? How shall I have a son when no man has touched me? Now if you go to the Lugha, your hands wear dictionary, all lanes, I believe you read my dictionaries, all this looking on the internet. It's not difficult. You go on the internet and type, you'll get 100 questions against Islam. Not 100, you'll get 1,000. Very easy. Not that a person has done research. If you had done research, you'd have come to know who was whose father and who was whose husband and mother, everything. But you go on the internet, you get this very easy. Now, the Arabic word masa has got two meanings. Physical touch, it means sexual touch. So when Mary, may Allah be pleased with her, she says, how shall I have a son when no man has touched me? It is understood. It is not physical touch, it is sexual touch. Correct?
Yes.
Similarly, there are several verses in the Quran. Now, when there are 2-3 meanings, even both can be correct or one can be correct. To have more details, you go to the hadith. Hadith is the commentary of the verse of the Quran. Correct? Maybe the same word has got two meanings. In that verse, it means meaning number one. In the second verse, it meaning number two. Hadith is the commentary. So when we go to the hadith of this Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse 34, talking about daraba, there the Prophet said, do not beat on the face. Do not leave a mark. Beat like a toothbrush. I gave the answer, but you were so much concentrating on the notes you have that you forgot my answer. If you have heard my answer, that if there are 2-3 meanings, all meanings may not be right. Maybe one is right, maybe two are right, maybe all three are right. Therefore, you have to go back to the Prophet. The Quran says, Atiullah, Atiur Rasul. Obey Allah and obey the Messenger. So when there are 2-3 meanings, you have to go to the hadith and find out what did the Prophet mean by that word. So there when it says strikes off the head, it means strikes off. Here it means strike lightly. So therefore, if you know the supplement to the commentary of the Quran, it's the hadith. Without the authentic hadith, you cannot understand Islam. So a prophet said, it means beat lightly, like beating with a toothbrush, don't beat on the face, don't leave a mark on the body. So these are the guidance given by Rasul. Therefore, it is obligatory that besides the Quran, you have to follow the authentic hadith. Hope that answers the question. And inshallah, I'll wait for you after 10 o'clock in the speaker's lounge, inshallah. Yes, Brother Shekhar?
Thank you.
And since you have 2 daughters, you said you have 2 daughters and you want, sorry?
And one son.
The son, there's no hadith saying the son will take you to Jannah here.
Yeah.
If he becomes the pious son, and if he prays for you, inshallah, even he will be a pathway to Jannah. What I want to see to it that besides good deeds, you even have faith. Faith is one of the important criteria to go to Jannah. And since you have an urge to go to Jannah, to paradise, inshallah, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may He make me the zarya, the pathway to take you to Jannah, inshallah.
Yes, sister.
Hi, my name is Chloe. I'm from Canada. I'm a student here in Mumbai. And my question is why women are not accepted into mosque in India?
Sister asked a very good question, that why are women not accepted in the mosque in India? So India has to blame, not the Quran and Hadith. I told in my lecture, do not judge Islam by looking at what the Muslims do or what the Muslim society does. Judge Islam according to the Quran and the Sahih Hadith. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad said, there's a hadith in Sahih Bukhari, the Prophet said, do not prevent the female servants of Allah from going to the mosque. Another hadith in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 1, in the book of Salah, just a few hadith before that, he said that if the female servants, that means the Muslim women, servants of Allah, if they want to go to the mosque at night, do not prevent them. Now, it is the Indian culture. Now, when we allow a woman to go in the mosque, we see to it that she gets equal but separate facilities, separate entrance, separate place of ablution, wudu, separate place of prayer. We don't believe in intermingling, like when you go to the church or when you go to the temple. Why? Because in our Salah, sister, when we pray, we believe in equality of human beings. We stand shoulder to shoulder. Irrespective whether the man next to me is black or white, yellow or brown, king or pauper, I stand close to him, shoulder to shoulder. Now, if a lady is there, close to me, shoulder to shoulder, the medical doctors tell me the temperature of the lady is 1 degree higher. If I pray standing with her shoulder to shoulder, I will concentrate more on her than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, separate but equal facility. Separate entrance, separate place of wudu. You have to wash yourself, wash your legs. You can't do in front of the Namaram. So in India, most of the mosques don't have. But alhamdulillah, it has started. I know of several mosques in Bombay where they have facilities for ladies. We have several mosques in South India where I've been to there. But I do agree with you, it is very less in percentage. If you go to Saudi Arabia, almost all the mosques, more than 95% of the mosques, they have facility for women. More than 95. Whether it's 99, 99.9, I don't know. More than 95% of the mosques have separate facility for ladies. You go to London, you go to USA, most of the foreign, it is India. So the problem is with the Indian Muslims. Therefore, in my talk, I say that see to it, there should be a separate facility for the women. Separate, but equal facility so that they too can pray to Almighty God in the mosque. Hope that answers the question, sister.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Yes, brother.
Good evening, sir. My name is Ashish, and my question is, there is concept in Islam by paying money to the victim's family. By paying money to victim's family, from accused family, and getting released from the crime. What is the concept behind that, and is it not injustice with the victim's family?
The brother asked the question that what is the concept of diya money, means paying blood money in Islam, that if someone has murdered someone or killed someone, whatever reason, the family members of the person who's murdered can excuse by taking diya money. This concept is that if someone is driving a car or maybe by mistake while walking something happens or by accident someone dies. Here, if it is out of negligence, yet, for example, doctor is doing surgery and it is proven out of negligence, the patient has died. Islamic law, death penalty. But there, the relatives of the person who has died, fine, we agree the niyyah was good. He didn't actually kill my son. I forgive him. But negligence, if it is done while trying to save a life, he goes scot-free. But if negligence, he does something, and the person dies, then death penalty, because of his fault. In this case, if it's proven it is 100% negligence, then the family members may say, even if it's negligence, I forgive him. Okay. I forgive him like free. I forgive him by taking 1 rupee or by the 1 million rupees. Maybe that 1 million rupee may be a penalty. Okay, don't do it again. Now you have done it. I don't want to take your life. I forgive you. 1 million rupees is a penalty. So this concept in Islam that the person who has died, his family members can forgive by asking a penalty. If it is a conspiracy and a murder, 100% proven, then it is death penalty. These cases are mainly when we know that the person has a chance to be forgiven. If someone goes and does a bomb blast on the street and kills 100 people, innocent people, no forgiving, death penalty direct. You understand? Now, for example, while if you're doing something, maybe a building is being constructed, fine, and there was negligence, the worker gets electrocuted. It's the fault of the builder. Now the family members say, okay, I don't mind forgiving. You know, my husband used to give me every day 2,000 rupees. Now, if I demand 500,000 rupees, even in his full life, how much could he give me? 25,000 a year? 5 lakh would take how many years? How many? 20 years. So now if I take that 5 lakh rupees, I can invest it somewhere and get 4,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees a month. Correct? So fine, I forgive him, and with this money at least I can survive. The various aspects and angles. This is not the only aspect. I'm giving you examples. So in this way, what happens? At least in Indian law, finish, death penalty. But वो बेचारे का bread and to मर गया ना, उसको फायदा क्या हुआ? Does the government take care of him? The earning member has died. The wife and children are on the street. Does the government help? No. So here at least as a compensation, now they invest the money, every month they get 5,000 rupees. So at least some part of their life is taken care of. It may not compensate completely, and sometimes the person may just forgive without taking money also. So therefore, the various situations Islam has permitted so that it's beneficial for both. Hope that answers the question.
Yes, brother. And kindly